Hey guys, it's Reddy Rogers here with the next part of What If Deku found the Omnitrix. But before we begin, thank you for 170 subs. It really means a lot. And if you want to know when What If Naruto is coming out, that's after this. And if you want to know what my schedule is, it's in the description below. For the 100 subs special, you guys can choose between what if Asta was an heliotrope or what if Deku was a Jaeger pilot. Well, that's your decision. So yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and also comment. And if you reach the end of the video, that's an achievement for you. So that out of the way, let's begin. Last time we left off, Deku had just fought and was kidnapped by Vilgax. Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa Myaxx shortly arrived to save Izuku. As all three of them saved Izuku and Deku and Vilgax had a fight with the ship blowing up and in the same as canon. As after the battle, Myaxx agrees to open up about his plumber life to three of his grandkids. And now with the recap out of the way, let's get into the actual video. As the squad's adventures continue, all of them expand their capabilities. Myaxx would get out of retirement and begin to refamiliarize himself with his old technology and weapons. Gwen starts to take an interest in magic after facing Charmcaster and stealing her book of spells. Ben would learn how to manipulate his electricity to a level that he could enhance himself with electricity to increase his speed and stamina, while Izuku would learn that there are more than just 10 aliens in the watch, as he becomes a natural at fighting in different styles. Vilgax eventually emerges at a nearby town, as he is causing destruction nearby, with Izuku and everyone in the rust bucket, as he and Ben are messing with the watch. As Gwen asks, "What are you two doing?" Ben says, "Izuku said there might be more aliens in the watch, and we were trying to figure out how to unlock them." As Izuku says, "There must be some way to activate them." As everyone said, "That thing might blow up if you guys aren't careful." Ben says, "Nah," as he thinks he got it, as he shoots a little bit of electricity, making the watch glitch a bit. As Gwen says, "You're done now," as Omnitrix keep flickering. Izuku tries to fix it, but before he could, Grandpa Myaxx called them and said that Vilgax is back. Ben asks how. Nobody could survive that. As Myaxx says, he's not nobody. Get ready. As Ben and Gwen get ready to face him, but before Izuku could say anything or fix his watch, Grandpa Myaxx door time as he dragged Izuku to the town where Vilgax is, causing some damage. As Ben, Gwen, Myaxx, and Deku arrive to see the destruction caused by Vilgax, as Izuku transforms into four arms. Izuku taps his watch and says forearms as he slams the watch, but turns into a different alien as he turns into Ben Victor. Or Deku Victor, as Deku asks, "Who is this guy?" Gwen says, "I told you not to mess with the watch," as she looks at Ben, as Ben just shrugs. Vilgax arrives and throws a car at Izuku, and on instinct he shoots electricity bolt at Vilgax, who dodges it but still gets singed. As Ben says, as Ben says, "Hey, wasn't that my electricity?" As he looks at Izuku confused. Izuku thinks for a bit and says, "I think you messing with the watch unlocked the new alien." As Ben looks at Gwen with a smug look. Grandpa Myaxx says, what is this about messing with the watch?" As Ben gulps. Vilgax says, "So you finally arrived, boy." As all the attention is on him, as Ben says, "How are you even alive?" Vilgax says, "I am a galactic conqueror. I have survived more explosions than you have in your entire life." Izuku says, if you were this smart, then why would you come alone? That would just make it harder for you to get the Omnitrix, wouldn't it?" As Vilgax says, "Who said I was fighting alone?" As a truck was thrown at Izuku, who used his lightning to block the truck as much as he could, as he grabbed it and threw it away when it came close. When they look at where the truck was thrown, they see Kevin, who has been stuck in his monstrous mutation, as he roars at the side of Deku, as he charges at Izuku, who shoots lightning at Kevin, trying to stop him, but Kevin blocks it with his diamond hand as he deflects it back. Izuku gets electrocuted, but isn't really that effective since it's sort of the Frankenstein lightning thingy. Yeah. Vilgax tells Kevin to calm down, as Kevin says, "You still remember the deal?" As Vilgax says, "Of course, I get the Omnitrix and I fix you, and let you kill the Tennysons." Izuku says, "Wait, what?" Vilgax says, "You weren't supposed to hear that," as they charge at the Tennysons. Gwen creates a shield using mana that holds Vilgax and Kevin back for a bit, as Myaxx takes out his blaster with an ominous red pattern on it and tries to shoot Vilgax. Vilgax dodges as the blast misses and hits a rock, which for some reason disappears. Ben, Myaxx, Gwen, and Deku fight Vilgax. After a while, Gwen's shield breaks. And Izuku runs out of time as he transforms back to his regular form. As Kevin shouts out, "You're mine!" as he goes to attack Izuku. Deku tries to block it by outing his hand to protect himself as Kevin claws it. But what Deku didn't know was it was the hand with the Omnitrix, as the Omnitrix says, "Master Control activated," in a glitchy voice, as Deku wonders what Master Controls is. As he sees that Kevin's throwing another punch, as he thinks, I could really use Cannonball right now, as he transforms into Cannonball, stopping the punch. And Deku wonders how. He thought it was out of time, as he remembers that the watch said Master Control. As he's thinking about this, Kevin's about to throw another punch, but Izuku transforms into forearms again, blocking it. Kevin's about to breathe fire as Izuku transforms to the diamond head, blocking the fire. As Deku thinks of a plan, he finally comes up with one as he tries to accelerate, running as far away as he can, as he says, "Take this, Kevin," as he runs forward at Kevin, then immediately transforming into forearms, punching Kevin at Mach speed, sending him flying into Vilgax, who was holding his own against Ben and Myaxx. Kevin flies into Vilgax, knocking him into a wall as both of them are dizzy. Myaxx asks Gwen if she could do a binding spell on them. As Gwen says sure. After she does that, Myaxx points the gun at him and says It says, have fun in the null void, as he shoots the null void projector at Vilgax and Kevin, sending them both into the null void. As Ben says, the null void, huh? Aren't there aliens in the null void? Myaxx says, yes, but there's also a prison cell with their names on them. The null void is not just for aliens, it's also for intergalactic criminals. As Izuku says, interesting. As Izuku thinks, hope Kevin survives. As the word says, glitch has been repaired. Master control deactivated. As Izuku transforms back to his original form, as he says, oh man. Ben says, what was that? I never seen you change out of aliens that fast. Izuku says, I don't know. It was something called master control apparently. Weird. As Myaxx says, come on guys. This is the last week of summer vacation. Try to make the most out of it. As Ben, Gwen and Izuku says in unison, oh man, I can't believe summer's over already. Deku says, what am I gonna tell mom when I get home? Myaxx says, don't worry about that. I told your mother about the Omnitrix. She knows. And how did she take it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Myaxx says, don't worry about your mother. I told her a few weeks ago about the Omnitrix. And how did she take it? As Myaxx is trying to find some words. As Izuku says, say no more. They skipped a few days as the group is fighting one of their many occurring villains, Dr. Animo. As Izuku is trying to take him down using Wild Mutt. In the instant fight, Dr. Animo tries to take control of Wild Mutt using his antennas, but it does something else. As when the beam is shot at Deku, it hits his arm where his watch is again. As the voice command says, self-destruct mode activated. Self-destruct? As Izuku thinks, Ben says, get your head in the game. Get your head in the game, Wild Mutt. As he shoots a lightning at Dr. Animo, which hits him. As Izuku charges at Dr. Animo, headbutting him, sending him into a tree and knocking him out. As he times out. He looks at the watch as instead of the normal green color, it's a yellow and orange circular pattern. As Ben says, hey cuz, is something wrong? As he looks at the watch. Hey, what's wrong with the watch? As Izuku says, it's a self-destruct mode. As Ben says, self-destruct, as he runs away and hides behind the rust bucket. Gwen asks Izuku why Ben's hiding, as Izuku explains that the watch is self-destruct. Gwen tells this to Grandpa as Deku asks what it could mean. Myaxx says he'll try and ask some of his colleagues and the plumbers. As Deku says that could really help. We skip to the night as it's quiet in the forest. But before anyone knew, a loud noise came from outside as it woke everyone in the rust bucket. As Deku asked, what was that? What was that? As he looks out the window to see a spaceship. He goes out and the person who comes out is Tetrax. Izuku says, Tetrax? As all of them step outside, Deku asks why Tetrax is here, as he says, is it true? What's true? About the self-destruct on the Omnitrix. Yeah. As he grabs Izuku and says, Izuku, we need to take you to the creator of the Omnitrix immediately. As Izuku asked why, and please let go of me. Tetris apologizes and says, "I'm sorry, Zuko. It's just the self. It's just I picked up a transmission from the Omnitrix when it's a self-destruct mode. That self-destruct mode, and if you want to know what self-destruct mode is, the only words I can put it out for you is total annihilation. As because total annihilation, by what I mean is total annihilation is the destruction of our universe, as Izuku is shocked. And it says, that's why we need to get you to the creator of the Omnitrix immediately. Izuku says, can't you just bring him here? As Tetrax says, I'm afraid not. We have to meet a spy of mine who is on a planet called Incarceron. Oh, a haven for bounty hunters. And only he knows the location of the Omnitrix. As Izuku says, couldn't you just bring him here? As Tetrax says, like I said, I can't. I don't know how he looks like, and he only accepted to speak if the wielder of the Omnitrix was there. So Izuku says, okay, and how long is this going to be? Tetrax says, a few days or so. Depends on how many pit stops we make. As Izuku says, okay, I'll come, but can we bring them as well? As he points to Penguin and Grandpa Myaxx. As Tetrax says, I don't see why not. The more the merrier, I guess. As all of them pack for the journey. After they pack, they enter Tetrax's shift to find his assistant. I forgot his name, and like in Kevin, Ben isn't too welcoming to him, while Gwen is, it really doesn't mind him and asks if the blob could touch his watch for a second. The blob is confused, but does it anyway. Unlocking 2 new aliens. And if you're wondering why he asked the red blob to touch his watch, because Deku was much smarter than Ben, and he would have figured out the system of this version of the Omnitrix, which uses to scan DNA. So he'll be smarter and figured out that the alien life form has to touch the watch for him to get DNA. As the Omnitrix says, new sample acquired, 2 new aliens unlocked. As Izuku looks at the watch, he says, 2 new aliens? As Ben says, cheer up, 2 is better than 1, isn't it? As Izuku agrees. When he dials the watch, he sees the blob silhouette as he's going to press the dial. But before he could, Tetrax says, don't. Izuku says, why not? Tetrax says, I'm sorry, but it's best if you don't transform. Izuku says, why? As Tetrax explains, the more you use the Omnitrix, the more the self-destruct mode activates, meaning the timer is shortened every time you transform into an alien. So I best advise you not to use it. Transform into an alien. Not to use it as much as you could. Now buckle up, we're almost about to lift off. As they do so, as the ship takes off, leaving the atmosphere. Meanwhile, in space, we see Vilgax, who somehow got out of the null void. He hears the signal transmission from the Omnitrix as he hears self-destruct mode activated. As Vilgax thinks, if the Omnitrix is destroyed, then he can't rule the universe. As he picks up another transmission on Tetrax's ship, as he says, we need to get to as he picks up a transmission on the Tetrax's ship, as he says, We need to go find the creator of the Omnitrix as the transmission ends. Vilgax asks one of his drones to search up the creator of the Omnitrix. As a bio about him appears with a younger looking azimuth. As it says, Vilgax researches about him and finds out that the most probable planet he'll be on is Zelor, one of the planets he created. As Vilgax says, set a course for Zelor. Set a course for Zello. As Drone says, yes sir. Meanwhile, on Tetrax's ship, Deku asks Tetrax where they're going. As Tetrax says, we're going to a space station called Incarceron, a safe haven for all bounty hunters. As Izuku says, bounty hunters? I'm afraid so, but the only one who knows how to get to Azimuth is hiding there. But don't we... sorry. As Deku says okay. Tetrax has to hold tight as they're about to speed warp, as they speed warp to Incarceron. When they arrive, Tetrax finds a safe place to land, as when the door opens, he tells all of them to keep a low profile as he splits them into groups. It's Tetrax with Izuku, Myaxx, Ben, and Gwen, and it's him with Izuku and Myaxx with Ben and Gwen, as he gives communicators to them and tells them to call if any trouble comes up. On Incarceron, Tetrax and Izuku run into 6-6, one of the bounty hunters hired by Vilgax who ended up on Incarceron. After a brief battle with Tetrax using his brief battle with 6-6 with Tetrax using his cryptokinesis and Izuku having no choice but to transform into Heat Blast, as both of them defeat 6-6, but he still managed to get away. As Tetrax and Deku go to meet as the spy that Tetrax met, as they meet Myaxx, one of Azimuth's former assistants. She asks Tetrax if she has the user of the Omnitrix, as she reveals to look like a female version of Vilgax, or one of his species. Deku asks Tetrax why Vilgax is here, and Myaxx says, I'm not that idiot Vilgax. I would never betray my own planet. As she introduces herself as Myaxx, the assistant of Azimuth. As Deku is worried but introduces himself as Izuku in a basic introduction, as Myaxx says, so you're the kid who got the Omnitrix. As she inspects the watch, she says, why has the self-destruct mode been activated? As Deku explains. Myaxx says, is that so? I can't stop the countdown, but I can prolong the explosion. As she tinkers with the Omnitrix. As Deku asks what she did with it, Myaxx explains to Deku, and as Myaxx explains what she did to the watch, as Deku learns a bit more about it. And I also added something else, as Izuku looks at the watch and says, DNA has been scanned. Chimera sui genesis has been unlocked, as it has the same silhouette in the shape of Vilgax. As Deku asks, did you add your DNA sample to the watch? As she nods. Deku thinks her. Tetrax says they shouldn't waste much time, as they should head back on the ship. He communicates Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa to head back to the ship, as Grandpa says that there's going to be a problem, as like in Canada, Ben would have picked a fight with them. Tetrax tells him to send their location to them, as Myaxx does so. Tetrax says that they need to hurry to the ship as they hurry to the ship. While with Group 2, Ben, Gwen, and Grandpa are fighting a horde of aliens, as Ben and Gwen are arguing while they fight, and Myaxx is shooting his blaster at incoming attackers. The aliens start to push back as they are cornered, but before anyone can make a move, Tetrax is shake paralyzed, as Deku is one of the turrets, as he is shooting warning shot at the aliens, as he doesn't want to kill them. As Tetrax throws a rope at them and says, "Grab on." And grab on. As he pulls them into the cockpit, shutting in and getting them out of Incarceron as fast as they could. When they had escaped, the bounty hunt, Tetrax yells at Ben and Gwen for starting the fight. Like that, as Ben says she started it, no, he did, as both of them start arguing again. As Tetrax face palms and says, "I wish you were more like cousin," as Myaxx says, "Same." Tetrax introduces Myaxx to Ben and Gwen and Max. They think it's Vilgax first, but Izuku reassures them that it's not Vilgax, just one of his species from his planet. As all of them calm down, Myaxx tells them that that set a course for Xenon. As she puts the coordinates at Tetrax's ship away and tells them to light them, but Tetrax says that they don't have enough power for it. As Myaxx looks at Izuku and asks him to transform into upgrade, Izuku says, "But won't that just bring us closer to self-destruction?" As Myaxx reassures him that she slowed the count down, so it'll be fine. Izuku thinks for a moment as he agrees to do it and transforms into upgrade, transforming and diffusing with the trips, transform the ship into an upgraded version. As he says, "Prepare yourself," as he lights jumps forward, making it to planet Xenon, the one on the screen. As Izuku says, "We have arrived at their destination," as he de-transforms. Tetrax says where to land as Myaxx shows him the landing pad. They land on Xenon. Myaxx says that Myaxx says that there are some aliens who emigrated from their native planet and homeworld, and some who are native to the planet. As Ben asks, what type of aliens? As Myaxx says, some Florana, wild wine, and watch out for the bugs, stinkfly. As Ben gulps. They see a base of some sort as they enter the base. The time that they spend there happens the same as them encountering the wild vines, but they don't really take wind this time since there are more people to defend each other, and they would find Azimuth's work up faster. The encounter with Azimuth would still go the same, with him being in the suit and still attacking them, and him going down with the help of Cannonbolt. As Azimuth comes out of his suit, sorry about that. Izuku asks Azimuth to deactivate self-destruct mode, but to their shock and horror, Azimuth says no. Deku asks why. Azimuth says that this universe has caused me nothing but pain and misery. It's better off dead anyways. Izuku tries to console Azimuth about his decision, as he says, sure, the universe might be bad, but it's still the universe and it's still our home. And do you really want to eat? And do you really want to be accountable for the lives of trillions? As Azimuth is about to give an answer, but before he could talk to him, Vilgax attacked like in canon, as he gives the same speech to Azimuth about a new Omnitrix. And the fight with him would go similar, with Izuku refusing to use the Omnitrix to beat Vilgax, with the fight going just a bit easier, with Ben and Gwen knowing how to use their powers. Vilgax tells Izuku to give up, but Izuku can't push him back. And like in canon, Azimuth gets inspired by Izuku's act of bravery and makes his way through the battlefield. As he goes to Izuku and he said, "Kid," As Izuku says, what? As he's shooting some robots. Give me the watch. Wait, what? Give me the watch. As Izuku asks why. As Asuma says, look kid, you're right. The universe might still be trash, but still our home. And I don't want to be responsible for trillions of lives. You're right about that. And if I deactivate the SDM, self-destruct mode, you have to promise me something. As Izuku what? Izuku says, what? Izuku says, do you promise to protect the Omnitrix and any trick that comes towards the universe, and also the Omnitrix? Izuku says, what? Do you promise? As Asmund has a serious look on him. As Izuku thinks, well, I don't have a choice, do I? I promise. As Asmund has a mark on his face as he presses the Omnitrix, and the watch says, self-destruct mode deactivated. As Izuku thanks Asmund and rushes to the front of the battle. As he dials the watch to see an alien that he has never seen before. As he presses the watch, as a gigantic green light emerges the battlefield. As we see, way big, as Izuku says, way big. Izuku wonders why he's so big as he checks himself to see that he's not tall. He's not tall, just tall, like way big, pun intended. As Vilgax is now getting scared as he thinks, I never expected him to have a Toku star. As he directs all forces to attack Izuku. The battle with Vilgax and Wayback would go similar, with Deku beating the crap out of Vilgax senselessly. After that arc, that wraps up some of it where they were originally supposed to be, as Izuku thanks Asmund and Myaxx and Tetrax for their help. After that they leave. Grandpa Max tells all of them that they have to get going as it's the end of summer vacation. Ben and Gwen are sad about this since they can't save people from aliens as they were vigilantes. And Izuku is saddened but also happy since the start of their adventures he really hasn't got a break, even once. As he thinks it's finally time he got a break. Grandpa Max says to all of them to pack their stuff, as all of them do. As Grandpa Max does buckle up. Max starts the rust book and starts to drive. After a couple of hours of them, Izuku and Ben are asleep, not like that. As Max says, wake up guys. As Ben and Izuku say, why? We're here. As they see the build sign. Ben says, couldn't you just drive a little slower? And Izuku says, you should have told us. Well, you should have told us when you had the chance. And besides, I'm looking forward to coming back. Haven't had a break in a long time. As Max says, so who's looking forward to school? As Ben says, not me. Not me. As he looks at Izuku, hit or miss. Well, unlike the two boys, I am quite excited to go back to school. As Ben gives her the stink eye. As they both start to argue. As Izuku tries to step in to stop the argument. After a few minutes, Max says, Izuku, we're here. And says, where is this exactly? As Max chuckles and says, your house. As Izuku says, sorry, I was starting to forget how this town looked like. Me too. As Izuku takes his things and says goodbye to everyone. As he waves goodbye, leaving the RV. He walks up to the door of his house as he enters. He calls his mom as she runs downstairs and hugs Deku. Izuku says, Mom, could you please stop? I can't breathe. As she apologizes. She asks Izuku how the trip went as Izuku explains the whole story to her. She is scared at first, but hearing more as she learns that Deku had grown and he had also learned to master the Omnitrix. Then she asks about the Omnitrix as Izuku explains it to her. And also the last arc that they had. She tells Deku that she can keep this a secret forever, as she tells him about her plumber days, as Deku is shocked about learning that his mother was a plumber. Deku asks why she quit, as she looks at the picture of Deku's dad and says, "That's personal." As Deku asks, you don't have to explain if you don't want to." As Inko thanks her. And it says, "Tell me how you defeated Vilgax again," as he explains. And they should have a celebration, as Deku says, "Not right now. I'm looking forward to finally taking a break," as Inko says, "Alright then." Izuku goes up to his room and writes a new journal, with the title being Number 1 of Alien Documentary, as he writes about the alien surveillance he encountered. He goes to check the internet for any types of news and he goes to a pretty famous blog site about heroes. And when he logs in, he sees what's on the front page is just him, Ben, Gwen, and Myaxx in their hero costumes, or vigilante costumes. As he sees news about a mysterious vigilante group, as Deku sees a picture of Lucky Eagle, Gwen, Ben, Myaxx in a costume, as Forearms fighting Kevin and Vilgax, and Cannonball and all of his transformations except the 3 new ones. Yeah. We skip a year as Deku is 11 years old, and the Destroy All Aliens arc would happen, and I won't go into this arc because this video is long enough. The arc would go the same with Deku fighting Azimuth, Toku Star, and Deku fighting Azimuth Way Big or Toku Star, going into the Omnitrix fighting Azimuth's dad, and Azimuth fixing the Omnitrix using the Mechamorph armor. So pretty similar, but easier. In school, Izuku would not use the Omnitrix since he would get in trouble if he did, since the news about his transformations are on the internet and also the news. So yeah. Also during this time, Grandpa Myaxx would have rejoined the Plumber HQ over the Bellwood. And over the span of 2 more years, he would get the title of Magister like in canon. Myaxx would have told Izuku and the others about the Plumber bases. Izuku would sometimes visit as he would meet like Magister Labyrinth, Petalidae, Lucas, and Driva. Yeah. Izuku is now 13 as he's thinking about asking his grandpa something, as he skipped after school. Ben asks Izuku if he would want to walk home together today. But Izuku says he can't today. Ben asks why, as Izuku tells him that it's sort of a secret. As Izuku says, as Ben says, what? As Izuku says later as he walks away. Ben is curious, but he decides to go home for the day and asks Deku later as he walks home. With Izuku, he walked into a plumber shop as he goes in the bathroom and flushes, which took him to the secret plumber base. He exited the elevator as Magister Petalidae greeted him, as he asks why Izuku is doing there. Izuku asks Petalidae if he knew where his grandpa was, as Petalidae takes him to Myaxx, who is in the workshop talking to Lucas and Driva. As Petalidae says, "Hey Myaxx, look who's come to see you," as Myaxx looks to see Deku, as he asks what Deku is doing there. Deku asks if they could speak in private, as Myaxx is confused, as he asks them to be dismissed, as everyone in the room except for Deku and Myaxx. As Myaxx says, "What do you want to talk about?" as Deku is trying to find the words. He says, "Can I join the plumbers?" as Myaxx says, "What?" And also Petalidae, Lucas, and Jiva, who are hiding themselves behind the wall, says, "What? Why?" "Well, it's because I want to learn to defend myself without the Omnitrix, since I can't use it anymore with the news and all." As Myaxx says, "What?" as Deku explains it more, saying that he can't always rely on the Omnitrix, and there has been situations when the Omnitrix had failed him, as he lists a few. Myaxx is surprised about how mature Deku is being, as Max is hesitant to accept it. As he says, "Okay, but only if your mother agrees." As Deku says, "Why did you have to bring mom into this?" As Max calls Inko. As Inko says, "Hey dad, is something wrong?" As Max explains the situation to Inko. Inko says, "What?" Put Izuku on the phone. As Izuku says, "Hey mom." "Don't hey mom me. Why did you ask to be enlisted in the plumbers?" Izuku says the same thing he said to Max, as Inko thinks for a long time. As she says, Fine, as Izuku says thanks, as he gives the phone back to Grandpa Max. As Izuku gives him the okay, but also whispers something else. And Max says, "Isn't that a bit harsh?" And a bit of murmuring later, "Okay, alright." As Max hangs up, Max says, "Congrats, Izuku, you're going to the Plumber Academy." As Izuku says, "Yes." But, Izuku says, "But, since you're getting a recommendation from me and your mother, that means you're going to plumber school, level 3, that is. Level 3. As Izuku asks, level 3? Well, level 3 is a level that would take years to get, as Fatality and Lucas interrupt and say, "What?" As they come out of hiding and try to convince Max to give him a lower tier. As Max says, I can't refuse now. It was a request from his mother. And you know Inko. It's all three of them gulp. Izuku asks what tier 3 is, as Fatality explains it to him, saying that tier 3 is a place for recommended cadets. And the reason why it's so weird is because the level's so hard. If you fail, that means you can never enlist in the plumbers again. Not because of the rule, but because of the injuries you sustain. As Deku gulps and says, "Chose this path and I don't intend to go back." As they're shocked about Deku's determination. But Holiday adds one more thing and says, "If you come out of there alive," well, yeah, alive. Tier 3 Plumber Academy. Alive, he will be rewarded that title that would take years to earn. As Deku asks what the title is. As Fatality says, "Captain." As Izuku says, "I like the sound of that." Oh, and also you can use your powers. Izuku says why, as he explains it. Deku says, "I understand," as he asks the two government technicians to put a lock on the Omnitrix. Oh, wait, no, not put a lock. Yeah, take it off. To take the Omnitrix off him. As Lucas says, "Are you sure?" As Jiwa says, "Of course he's sure." And they go back with the 9/4 as Izuku says, as Izuku just stands there until they do it. As Max says, "You'll start next week." As Izuku says, "Yeah, but should I tell Ben or Gwen about this?" As Max says, "Not yet." As Izuku agrees. We skip another 2 years of harsh training, as Izuku is on top of his class. During this time, he would also tell Ben and Gwen about this, as Ben is jealous about Deku becoming a plumber, as he would beg Grandpa for him to enlist in the plumbers. And after a lot of nagging, Max finally stepped in and enrolled Ben in tier 1 class. Ben asks why 1, as Max says, "We both know you couldn't handle tier 2 or 3, as Ben is annoyed. It's the day that Izuku is graduating from the Plumber Academy, as all of his friends and family are there, as well parents of other plumber cadets. As Grandpa Max hands him the medal and title of captain. After the ceremony, Izuku was granted the title of captain, as Ben puts him in a headlock and says, "Don't get ahead of yourself, Izuku. I'm only a few months away from my graduation." As Izuku asks, "That's Captain Izuku to you," as they laugh. Mess asks if they should go celebrate. Ben says they know just the place, but Izuku says he needs to go get something, as he goes to the technician's lab and takes his Omnitrix. As he says, I miss this. I'm gonna miss having arm hair. As he puts the watch back on. And if you're wondering how Deku's plumber uniform looks like, it's in the thumbnail. As he takes him to get some chili fries. As at the bench outside, all of them are talking as they hear an explosion. Deku, Ben, Gwen, and Myaxx go to the scene of the explosion as they see an alien causing a rampage around the city block. As Deku takes his plumber's badge out and says, fellow alien, by the order of the plumbers, I advise you to stop. As the alien says, no way, I'm having too much fun, as it's throwing cars and stuff. As Deku says, you asked for it. He asks Ben and Gwen to get ready, as Gwen says they don't have the badge or license to fight this. Izuku says, I give you permission to fight, as he gives some temporary plumber's badges. As Deku says it's hero time, as he slaps on his watch. As the watch doesn't work, it's hero time? As he keeps trying to activate it. Ben asks what's the hold up, as he says he can't activate the watch. As he remembers, he forgot to ask Bulkash and Riva to deactivate the lock on it. As Izuku says, well, if I can't use the Omnitrix, then I'll just have to use my weapons. As he takes out his blast pistols as they begin to fight. The alien calls back up as three more of the same alien show up. As Deku is still trying to use the Omnitrix, as the watch says, Omnitrix on lockdown, user's name needed. As Deku says, Izuku Midori or Tennyson, as the watch replies by saying, name correct, scanning data, and DNA. DNA has changed. Upgraded the watch to better fit the user, as the Omnitrix transforms into its alien force counterpart. As Deku asks, this isn't my usual watch, as he tries to get the dial for the Omnitrix up, as instead of a silhouette, it's a hologram, as he calls to the roster. And he says, this isn't my usual roster, as he sees some new aliens, but also some of the old aliens, well, the three he scanned. But this is the part where I'm ending it off. As always, if you guys like this part, like, subscribe, and turn notifications to get notice new videos. Bye. And the schedule is down below. Sorry for that ending. The phone is running out of charge, so yeah.